This is my jewelry collection. I think it's gonna fall soon, so I'm gonna put it down. Oh, almost. I was looking around the house trying to think of what to show you. And then I thought, wouldn't a jewelry collection be good? Because then it could bring up stories or thoughts I might have from throughout my life that maybe wouldn't have come up otherwise. But then I also felt a little silly, like, it's just jewelry. I don't know if it'll be interesting, but I do know that I love seeing other people's jewelry collections. It just seems like there's so much going on in the world that jewelry is a ridiculous thing to be talking about, but maybe that's why it's so fun. So I made notes, and I made a list of all the things I have. People usually say pieces in this situation, but I don't think my things are important enough to call pieces. Starting at the beginning, when I was born in 1992, around then, I received a jade necklace from my family, from my mom, and as far as I know, from my very limited view of my own native country, China, as far as I know, every child gets a jade necklace when they're a little kid. And it's usually a piece of stone, a piece of jade, on a red string that depicts the animal from their zodiac year. By the way, I think all of my neighbors are vacuuming their apartments at the same time. So if you hear what sounds like a dental office, that's why. Mine is like this, and immediately you can tell that it's pretty hard to see. And that's because it's a very light shade. That's the back, and then the front is a monkey, because I was born in 92. When I was a little kid, I don't know if this was a dinner party, I think it was one of those Chinese dinner parties where all the parents come and eat food together and the kids hang out together. Usually at that time in history they would be playing Smash Bros or something like that. But in this specific situation, I didn't have a TV gaming console. So what would normally happen in my house when people came over is we would just chat. And I remember distinctly all of my fellow Chinese American friends were sitting in my bedroom and they were showing off their necklaces. I'm giving you a lot of detail. You might need a water. Anyway, and they asked to see mine. I was pretty proud of it. And they made fun of it. And they told me that mine was fake because it didn't look like everyone else's. And I believed them because I believed everything that anyone ever told me, no matter what. I didn't really fact check stuff that much at the age of roughly 8 years old. And I was so sad, and then everyone went home, and I told my mom, Mom, they told me that my necklace is fake. She put on her proud, powerful, motherly voice and said, oh, actually, a lot of their necklaces were fake, probably, because a lot of jade that's sold is actually plastic. And it's sold in a way that looks green and a little swirly sometimes, and she said, yours is very real, and in fact, it's a relatively more rare form of jade because it doesn't have imperfections despite being so large, and you have nothing to worry about, it's not fake. I think that that moment made me realize I definitely shouldn't just blindly believe everything anyone ever says to me. They may say it with confidence, but sometimes people are just wrong. And it also reminded me that sometimes people are really mean when you're not like everyone else, or you have something that's not like everyone else, whether it's worse or better or just different. This time I had something that was a little cooler, surprisingly. I didn't expect that. I didn't grow up with a lot of toys or things, so the fact that the one piece of jewelry that I had was actually pretty cool, I felt pretty special in that moment. My mom made sure that I felt special. So that's my story about my jade necklace. I don't wear it that often because I feel self-conscious wearing a red string around my neck, and I think that's maybe just because I got older and I don't know, but I should probably wear it more often. It's pretty much always been in this red box, a very simple box. I have no idea what it says on the inside of the box, but I do know that it says Beijing. That's about all I have for you, but if you can read it, let me know what it says. I don't know if this is the box that came with the necklace, though. It could just be a box. I don't know the provenance. The next jewelry item that I got, I lost it, and it was a pearl bracelet, and the clasp was a ladybug. And I got it from an older friend of my mom's, and she's still alive. She's a Canadian and retired now. She was a flight attendant for a long time, I think. And she would go on trips, and every now and then when she came back home from a trip, she would give me a jewelry piece, which was a huge surprise as a little kid. I think I was only 6 or 7 when this was happening, and even at that age I knew that this wasn't normal. It was made out of real pearl, and I was just wearing it one day and lost it, and I wish I could show you because it was so cute. I think it would still fit me because my wrists have not really grown bigger, weirdly enough, since I was 7 or 8. I don't know why, but it was really cute. Please believe me. And then the next thing I got was also from this lady named Grace. By the way, I don't think she uses a computer, so I think that's actually pretty cool. Anyway, the next thing I got from her, again, a kid-sized piece of jewelry, and that was this pearl necklace. And it's so small that it would be like a choker for me, and if I need to wear it, I'd really have to wear it like a bracelet and double it up. I don't usually wear this because I'm scared of pearls looking too loud on me, but I'll wear it as a bracelet if you think I should. I'm really glad I have that. Oh, before I go on, the other thing, of course, about this lady is she taught me through her actions that you should definitely just give people gifts if you think it's right. And because of that, I've tried my best when I give gifts to people to not worry about the price or how long it took or anything like that. If I think it's the right gift, I'll just give it, and that's it. And then I feel good about it. Okay, the next thing is also from my family, again. This is a gold and white gold monkey pendant. I heard that it's from a Hong Kong jewelry brand that's very famous, but I don't really remember the name. And the necklace part is separate. The original necklace broke, so my mom got me this gold necklace years later. The necklace is 24 karat gold, which I love. That's my favorite type of jewelry material. And the monkey in the center used to spin around like really fast. Now it's basically stuck because of the dust, but I love it. I've been in situations such as at a watch store where if the sales associate is Chinese, they'll immediately recognize this design, and that's pretty cool, but I don't know too much about it. I just know from this experience that apparently it's really nice to buy gold jewelry in Hong Kong because they have really nice designs, and I hear that's where you should go. The next thing is, I don't really know when I got this. I think it might have been around this time. My mom gave me a present that was from my aunt. Oh, also my aunt helped my mom shop for this pendant. I don't know who actually got it for me, but they worked together on this, which is cool. My aunt is very stylish, and she's one of the people in my family who I'm really sad to not get to spend more time with because she lives in China. And so this is from my aunt, apparently, and my mom handed it to me one day, and it is a jade bracelet, and it looks like it's for a child, but it actually has a wider width than my wrist. The only thing is it's pretty hard to put on because it's solid, and the only way to put it on is if I lather soap around my hands and just slip it on. It's kind of painful, but once it's on, it's actually quite large. I never wear this, and that bothers me a bit because I don't like to have anything in the house that we don't need for 365 days in a row. It just feels like we're taking up space, but because this is from my aunt, I just don't really want to get rid of it. But I think if someone in my family, if someone in my family really, really loves it, I think I would give it to them. But my husband tells me to not do that because I should get to keep the stuff from my family. I think that it might be easier for me to wear just on its own because things can really cling against it. But the easiest way to do that is not wear a watch, and I like wearing watches. That might be why I don't wear it that much. Usually with solid bracelets, I like when they're oval instead of square because they fit my wrist better. My wrist is not very circular. And when it's oval, at least it hits the sides of my arm instead of squishing the soft parts of my arm. The next thing that I received is this gold ring that my father gave my mom after he went to Venice for a work trip. And I wore this all throughout my 20s. My mom gave it to me randomly one day. I think she just stopped wearing it. And a lot of people gave me compliments on this. I have to admit it's not quite my style, but it's incredibly comfortable. And I've had it on for the past 10 years. I don't know how it's been that long. I don't know why we have this in the family. I don't know why my father bought this. I'm not complaining. He doesn't usually buy jewelry. Maybe he should more because he seems to be pretty good at it. And I wear it so that my other rings don't fall off, basically. But I also wear it to think of my parents, and especially in my 20s, I had such a difficult time dating, but the ring always reminded me that my parents have a really good marriage and just gave me hope, I guess, that love is real and can be long-lasting. The next thing that I got is also from my parents. I feel like half of this is all from my parents. And that's these flower earrings. My mom picked them out with me. She went to a jewelry store in China and took a photo of all of the earrings they had. And then I circled one on my phone and sent her the photo. And that's the one I wanted. They're also 24 karat gold. I have very sensitive ears. I wear these earrings pretty much every day of the year. 24 karat gold is an interesting thing because, in my opinion, I believe that 18 karat and 14 karat gold are marketed in the West as being stronger and better, and it's created a sense of distrust towards 24 karat gold. But in my personal opinion, I think it's just a marketing thing. I just really think that 24 karat gold is not as weak and bendy as people say, and I really believe that it can last a lifetime. And it is true that you can bend it, but it's not so bendable that I would be concerned. Jewelry is surprisingly hard to choose and buy for, I feel. The next thing I got is this. I actually got, and I guess that makes sense chronologically because now this is the first time I had a job where I could save money and invest in the stock market and basically have a good amount of money left over after I paid whatever housing fees that I had or monthly bills that I had. And I rewarded myself with just costume jewelry. Actually, it's not real pearl or real gold, I don't think. And it was this pair of Dior earrings. And because they're not real pearls, I guess they look very perfect. And I love them. I got a $1 version of these earrings to test them out. You could say, like fake ones, except they weren't really fake. They didn't say Dior on them. And then I got these, and I wore them a lot when I wanted to dress up a little bit more. I'm trying really hard not to lose these. I have them in the baggie at all times when I'm not wearing them. These look pretty good on practically everyone, and they're a bit larger than you'd expect or psychologically expect pearl earrings to be, which means they definitely stand out. I find them to be universally flattering. It's just fun. It's not meant to be too serious because it's not real pearl. Okay, the next jewelry items I got from Williamsburg, Brooklyn. And I think they're probably made in a different country, possibly a Southeast Asian country, but I don't know which one. I have 2 pairs. I don't really wear these anymore because my style has shifted away from bohemian. My style was extremely bohemian in grad school, living in California and everything, but now it's not really. But I love these earrings. It's very, very fun. No matter what your gender is, I believe it's extremely fun to wear dangly earrings. And it's just so great. But unfortunately I don't wear them, which makes me want to give them to my sisters-in-law, but I have 3 sisters-in-law and 2 sets of earrings, which means I need a 3rd pair so that it's fair. I don't usually have color in my outfits. I'm very boring. It's nice to have some color in the earrings. I think they were about $20 or $25 a pair. And where did I get them? I should figure that out. Oh yes, it's from Bodhi, B-O-D-H-I, which is on 232 Bedford Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. Worth walking around there if you're in the area. Now, the next thing is, I really don't know where these are from. I think probably a small casual pop-up in Koreatown near Herald Square. That's my guess, but I don't know. And that is a daisy ring, a beaded daisy ring. This is one of those things that fascinates me, that human beings are able to make daisy jewelry with beads. I don't know why that fascinates me so much. I think it's adorable. I think it's one of the best inventions ever. The next are just a bunch of earrings I got from Maria Tash. I got them because they're screw-on in the back, and that's because I have a bunch of piercings. I have one up here, and then I have one inside my ear here. Not inside my ear, but in the middle of my ear. And then I have 2 piercings in addition to my main piercing. And so everything besides my flower earrings are from Maria Tash, but I really don't recommend shopping there. So then my career progressed and I decided to reward myself for promotion, and I recommend doing that. I recommend actually for any big life event. I feel like it's fun to reward yourself with something that will last you for the rest of your life. And I think it's because it reminds you that you overcame something really big or got something really big done, and reminds you of that feeling of being able to do anything. And I don't think that this promotion was the hardest thing I've ever done, but I definitely think it deserved a prize at the end. So I gave myself a prize, or present rather, and that is a ring that I wanted for a long time, and it is a Bulgari B.zero 20th anniversary ring. It's a bit like a springy ring. I don't know how or why, but because of this ability to contract, it becomes relatively comfortable despite its size. It's quite large. I used to wear this every single day. I don't now because I think if I wore it with my wedding rings, I would probably look like I'm wearing too much. But I really like this, and when I got it, it felt like me for some reason. This is probably one of those things that will last for the rest of my life, and it's basically guaranteed to become a family heirloom. Someone is getting this one day. I don't know who. The next one is a Van Cleef bracelet, which I got from Matt when we were dating, and it is this tiny, tiny little pendant. He was very funny. He really wanted to get this, but he was turning pink and then he started turning red. And I said, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And he knew I would like it. And he said, "Yes, I want to do this." And the funny thing about him is he's so sweet that when he gets scared, he just gets really quiet and turns red. So that's why he was turning red. And then he got it, and he, ever since then, I've said many times, "Do you think we should sell it? Because it's not cheap." And he doesn't let me, so that's very sweet. Actually, he refuses to let me sell it. And, well, I guess it's with me forever. The next thing is something I got myself. This is probably the last expensive thing that I got for myself before I got married and we combined our finances. Part of it was just wanting to give myself something substantial that I had wanted for a long time but also didn't want. I'll explain. And that is my Cartier love bracelet that practically half the internet appears to own. First of all, I wanted to get myself something that represented how I try to love myself, which I failed to do and still fail to do, but want to do more. And also to just thank myself for working really hard in my career and all of that and growing a lot. And I'm struggling to find the right words to describe that feeling, but I guess it was more like rewarding myself for a job well done, growing up and being ready to get married and working all those years and saving a lot of money and investing a lot of money. And I think there's something about that I wanted to celebrate and just have for myself, because I know that this love bracelet is typically something that should be gifted, and in fact, when it was first released, I believe that you were not allowed to buy it for yourself. So I feel like I was going against the grain a little by getting it for myself, but I just had this feeling one day, look, I've saved enough, I can afford this, I'm gonna go get it. Then I wasn't really sure totally until I tried it on, and when I tried it on, I just thought to myself, look, all of those years when I was making fun of this bracelet and making fun of everyone having it, I was totally wrong, because this is a really great bracelet. And again, a relatively genius design, I have to say, because it looks good on everyone. I have taken it off for months because I thought maybe it was uncomfortable, but after 3 to 5 months of not wearing it, I really missed it for some reason. And another reason I took it off, though, is because it was during the summer and I didn't have sleeves to hide it, and I felt that it was a bit loud. But when I stopped worrying so much about what people would think and all of that, then I thought, I still like this. I don't care what people think, and then I put it back on. I think I still worry a little bit that people will judge me for it because it's so popular. But if I learned anything from handbag collecting, it is to just buy what I like. Is it hard for me to disassociate from all of the Cartier bracelet stacks online where someone's twisting their wrist so that you can see their Rolex and logo on their car steering wheel? I think that stops me from fully enjoying the bracelet, and it makes me wish that I could just completely disconnect from the internet. But having internet is too productive. I can't seem to stop, no matter how hard I try. The next set of earrings that I received, my mother-in-law brought out a pile of costume jewelry from her mother-in-law? Wait, I'm really bad at family trees. I don't know if that's right. My husband's grandmother, she had passed away from cancer, I think, and they are very, very light and easy to wear, incredibly classic, and I think she wore them a lot of days of her life, and she was a wonderful, wonderful lady. And I really wish I could have met her, but I think it was good to wear these on my wedding day. I thought of her, and I think that it's just a really big honor to have these. The next piece of jewelry I received is probably to be expected, which is my engagement ring. And we got it from this Korean store in Midtown Manhattan called Jangmi. And I got a pearl shape with a halo. At the end of our search, it was really just a matter of this one feels right and the other ones feel like I'm wearing someone else's ring. And I hope I get to wear it for the rest of my life. This is such a privileged complaint to have, but my rings are very heavy, and my fourth finger is always a bit tired because they're heavy. And this ring actually is not as big as you may think the diamond is, because first of all, my fingers are extremely skinny, and any diamond will just look oversized on me. And the other thing that you can't tell from this distance is that although the diamond is not totally flat like a pancake, it is definitely flatter than many other diamonds that are cut in this way. And it's very special. It's very, very, very shiny, but it's relatively shallow. And that means that we got a deal. The thing that I wanted to mention is actually not about this though, but it's related. And I don't know if I'm the only person who's experienced this. Probably not. But we went to Harry Winston to try on diamonds on Fifth Avenue. And they brought me these diamonds that were very yellow. And they claimed that the diamonds had a color grade of E, which is quite nice. E, anything above F, I think this might be G or like close to F, but anything above G is very white, and it's very, very hard to tell that there's yellow in it. They were claiming that a very yellow diamond was E, and I just thought there was no way. And I felt scammed. I really felt scammed. This is supposed to be one of the most famous stores that sells diamonds, and something is very, very off. I don't think I can get in trouble for saying that because that's just my personal observation. It was weird. It was really weird. And so the way we found the place we would like to go was just by looking at Yelp and Reddit and trying to figure out who people trusted. The other thing that is like kind of bizarre, which may bother some people, is that my setting was not custom made for the diamond. My diamond is more tall and skinny, and the setting is more wide and round. And that means that if you look really close and you're a couple inches away from this, you'll see gaps on the sides of the diamonds. And that really bothered me at first. But for some reason, it actually makes the ring look better. And now I don't care at all. Some things that bother us when we first buy them are really annoying and will always be annoying, but I'm very grateful that it doesn't bother me at all. And I think it's because in this specific situation, it represents a beautiful marriage and a beautiful life, and that's why I think that the imperfections don't matter to me at all now. And I can't say the same about maybe buying a handbag for myself or a piece of clothing, because then I am very picky because I don't have that emotional attachment to it. And that all goes back to, at least for my personal experience, thinking these are nice jewelry pieces and all, but they wouldn't mean anything if they didn't have all of that family history and all of those memories attached to them for me personally. The next wedding band I have is my wedding band that matches my husband's, and it's 24 karat gold. It's from Lao Feng Xiang, which is on Fifth Avenue. There are words inside that I can't read right now. The inscriptions, they claimed when I bought it that it meant something about health and happiness. And then I checked with a friend who can read Chinese, and it actually just says wealth a couple times. So that's not what we expected, but that's fine. It's not a closed loop so that you can size it to your finger size throughout your life, and never have issues with it being the wrong size, which we really appreciate because we don't know if we'll gain or lose weight throughout our lives, and we don't mind that it's not a closed ring. In the Jewish culture, I've heard that rings need to be fully closed in a circle, but because we don't follow the Jewish religion, I think that it doesn't really bother my husband, and he's happy to have something that he can adjust to the size of his finger. And that way we get to wear the same wedding bands forever. This is another case where 24 karat gold is perfectly fine. It's definitely not been so soft that it's precious. It gets a patina with little scratches that end up just part of the look, but it's not so soft that we have to worry about massive dents in the ring, and it's soft enough that I can reconfigure to the shape of my finger and the size of it. This is the necklace I wore the most in the past year, and that's this gold. I think it has a gold finish to it, but the interior is not gold. The interior is a jewelry safe steel, and it has a nice weight to it. It's not a typical star shape. It's definitely shaped like an origami star, and I think it's really sweet. I have such a fear of my solid gold necklace breaking, and I don't have another one, whereas this one is very affordable and very strong, which means not only is it very unlikely to break, it's also just really cute, and I like it a lot. Anyway, so I was testing this for the store, and it's on the store, and it's only gotten 5-star reviews, which is really good. But I actually liked it so much that I started wearing it, and that's why I've worn it a lot the past year. This is also a ring that I was testing. It's up on my store. I don't wear this. It's very, 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 very comfortable, but I almost never, well, I have worn it, but I haven't usually worn this because it's not quite my style, but I thought people would like it because it's really comfortable and really cool. And then the last piece of jewelry that I have is this ring. I have this because I was on a date with Matt, and we made these rings. We were given rectangular sheets of gold or silver, whatever we had paid for, and we cut out little strips and then bent the strips into a circle, and then at the very end the teacher basically welded a diamond on top, but the actual circle part we made, and we stamped inside little notes, and my husband made a different ring, but this is the one I made, and we also sanded them down so that they would be smooth, and that was such a fun experiment to see if we could make rings. And now I really appreciate jewelry because I know how much effort goes into it, although I guess a lot of these items are probably made with machines because they're all uniform and sold hundreds or thousands of times, but I cannot even imagine looking at handmade jewelry how much work it must take, and I really, really appreciate it. And if I want a pinky ring, that's the one I have. And that's it. That was my jewelry collection. I hope I didn't just bore you. I have this big fear and anxiety that I just bored you for a long time. And I hope it wasn't so bad. I hope it wasn't as bad as it is in my head. The good thing about jewelry is also it doesn't take up very much space. And in a tiny little apartment, I really appreciate that. All of this jewelry takes up the space of about 2 books. That's pretty good. I think the next time I see you, I'll probably be in Florida. We'll get some warmer weather, and I'd like to show you around some of my favorite places there. Hopefully places you've never heard of before. Please let me know what's going on in your life, and if I don't see you for Christmas, Merry Christmas officially, and Happy Hanukkah, and I hope that you get really good presents this year. I think Christmas is more fun when you get good presents. I can't help it. I can't help but think that you deserve to get the best presents this year. I think it's fun. I think that there's no thing in the world that will not degrade one day except plastic. That will stay forever. Buy something you really, really love that makes you excited, that is aligned to your biggest dreams and your hopes and wishes, and you can't regret that. Okay, well, Merry Christmas, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.